Title: She knocked on my door in the rain. An alien mother seeking safety for her child. The rain hadn't stopped for 3 days. The forest beyond my cabin had turned into a blur of dripping leaves and shifting shadows. I'd been alone for weeks, by choice. After the war between Earth and the Auran Dominion ended, I wanted nothing more than silence. No commands. No screaming skies full of fire. Just quiet. That night, the storm was at its worst. Thunder cracked over the valley like something was being torn open. I was halfway through fixing the generator when I heard it. 3 slow, deliberate knocks at my door. Froze. No one came out here. The nearest settlement was 10 miles away, and most people still avoided this zone because of old orbital debris. Hello! I called out over the sound of rain. No answer. Just another knock, softer this time. I reached for my rifle, old habit, and opened the door a few inches. She stood there, drenched to the bone. Her cloak clung to her form, soaked and muddy. Silver-blue skin glistened beneath the porch light, and her eyes, large, luminous, full of fear, met mine. In her arms she held a child, wrapped in a thin, torn blanket. "Please," she whispered, voice trembling but clear. "We just need shelter." For a second I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. "Norin, here. After everything. I began. "Yes," she said softly. "I am one of them. But I mean you no harm." Something in her tone stopped me from slamming the door. She looked more human than alien in that moment, just a mother terrified for her child. "Get in," I said finally. She stepped past me, careful, dripping water onto the floorboards. The child was silent, breathing shallowly, face pale and weak. "Name?" I asked, shutting the door behind her. "Lyra," she said. "And this is my son, Kale." I grabbed a towel, handed it to her. She dried the boy's face first, then her own. The air in the cabin smelled of rain, oil, and fear. "What happened?" I asked. Lyra hesitated. Her silver eyes darted to the window. "We were being hunted. Human patrol. They think all survivors of my people are spies or weapons." I frowned. "That's not true. The war's been over a year." "Tell them that," she said bitterly. Kale stirred in her arms, letting out a weak cough. I could see the faint shimmer of his veins, bioluminescent, fading. "He's sick," I said. She nodded. "He needs warmth. Food. I have nothing left to give him." I stoked the fire until the room glowed orange. The boy's breathing steadied. Lyra sat close, rocking him gently, humming a tune that sounded both beautiful and alien, like starlight carried on wind. I poured her a cup of tea. "Why come here?" "I heard about you," she said after a long silence. "A soldier who saved Auran prisoners during the last siege. They said you didn't see enemies, only people." I looked away. "I did what I thought was right. Got court-martialed for it. Then I came to the right place," she said quietly. For a while we said nothing. The storm howled outside. Inside, her humming filled the air like a fragile thread holding the world together. By dawn, Kale was sleeping peacefully, bundled in my blanket. Lyra sat near the fire, watching him with the kind of tenderness that made my chest ache. "What will you do now?" I asked. "I don't know," she said. "There's a transport ship leaving Earth in 3 days. If I can reach it, I can take him somewhere safe. Somewhere we won't be hunted." "That's in Capital District," I said. 2 days' travel on foot." She nodded. "We'll manage." "You won't," I said firmly. "Not with soldiers still sweeping the region." "I'll take you." Her eyes widened. "You'd risk your life for us." "I've got nothing left to lose," I said. We left at sunrise, the world washed clean by rain. The path was long and broken, collapsed bridges, fallen trees, and ruins still marked by war. Along the way, Lyra told me about her homeworld, how it had once been covered in floating crystal cities that sang when the wind passed through them. Now most were ashes. Kale rode on my shoulders, his laughter bright against the gloom. Lyra smiled when he did, though sorrow still lingered behind her eyes. The closer we got to the district, the more patrol drones we spotted. Once, we had to hide beneath the wreck of a shuttle for nearly an hour while a convoy passed overhead. By the second night, Kale had fallen asleep wrapped in my coat. Lyra and I sat by a small fire, speaking in whispers. "You could stay," I said. "Find a place here. Not all humans are like them." She looked at me, eyes glimmering in the firelight. "And what about you? Would you want that?" I swallowed. "Maybe." For a moment, neither of us looked away. The rain began again, soft, distant like a memory returning. By the third dawn we reached the edge of Capital District. The transport site lay beyond a checkpoint guarded by human soldiers. Getting through meant death if they saw her for what she was. We waited until the shift changed, then slipped through the maintenance tunnels beneath the perimeter. My old military code still worked, barely. When the final door hissed open, I turned to her. "This is where I stop," I said. She shook her head. "You've done too much already." Lyra placed a hand on my chest, warm, trembling. "If we make it, I'll never forget you." Kale woke as they boarded, his tiny hand waving at me through the fogged glass of the shuttle's window. Lyra's eyes met mine one last time. Then the ship's engines roared to life. I stood in the rain as it rose into the clouds, leaving only silence behind. For the first time in years I felt something shift inside me. Not pain, not anger, hope. Somewhere out there, a mother and her child were safe. And for me that was enough. As the shuttle lifted off, the roar of its engines drowned beneath the endless rain. I stood there, soaked, breathless, watching the streak of light vanish into the gray clouds. For a long time I didn't move. My rifle hung loosely at my side, the mud heavy beneath my boots. They were gone. The world around me was quiet again, but it didn't feel like the same silence I once craved. This was a gentler kind, one filled with echoes of her voice, her son's laughter, and the fragile warmth that had briefly turned my broken cabin into a home. I walked back through the forest as dawn crept across the sky, light glinting off the wet leaves. Every step felt lighter, every breath cleaner. Somewhere deep inside, something old and rusted began to heal. At the edge of the valley, I looked back toward the horizon. The shuttle was a distant glimmer now, just a star fading into morning. I raised my hand in farewell. Maybe I'd never see them again. Maybe their world would finally give them peace. But I'd keep the fire burning in my cabin, just in case another knock came on a stormy night. Because now I knew what it meant to be human. Not the uniform, not the wars, but the choice to protect life even when it wasn't your own. And as the first rays of sunlight broke through the clouds, I whispered to the sky, "Safe travels, Lyra. Take care of him." The wind carried my words away, and for the first time since the war ended, I smiled. A soldier no longer. Just a man who'd found redemption, in the rain at his door, through the courage of an alien mother and her child.